This is so incredible.
Yeah, ain't nothing like it.
I'm having to shut off the part of my brain that worries about crap.
Right?
I don't like how high I am.
Did you ever want to fly without using wings? I have. And so today I'm going to Durant, Oklahoma, and I'm going to go fly a powered paraglider. All right, so we're here at Northwest Regional Airport in Roanoke, Texas. We're going to hop in 7 Juliet Bravo and fly over to Durant, Oklahoma, where they have a powered parachute deal. My wife got me a gift certificate for, I guess, a discovery flight, one of these things, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be terrifying, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So let's hop in the plane. Let's go to Oklahoma.
Northwest traffic on 7 Juliet Bravo, departing runway 17 will be a downwind departure to the north. Northwest traffic. Alright, so we're just up Northwest Regional, headed to Durant, Oklahoma. Gonna go do some powered paragliding. I've never done it before. I've done parasailing, I've done hot air balloons, I've done planes, helicopters. I've done the paragliding where you're kind of inside a go-kart, like a little tricycle deal. That was a lot of fun, that was kind of scary. I've always wanted to do this because it just seems so much more free than you and a propeller and a parachute. Also, I haven't done a blimp. If anybody get me in a blimp, that would be great. I looked it up online and it looks fairly complicated. They're showing we're about 26 minutes out.
So once I was on the ground in Durant, I parked my airplane and I walked across this field to meet Sean. Sean's an instructor and he had his wife out here and a couple of students. Now, I think there's some hazing that goes on with the students because I could see at one point they have this young kid trying to do this, but he didn't have a motor on. And then here you can see they gave him a motor, but they wouldn't even start it and they're telling him to fly it. So no, that's not true. What this kid has to do is he's got to do what's called kiting, which is where he pulls the chute up into the air and shows that he can maintain control of it. And he does it a couple times without the motor on his back, and he does it a couple of times with the motor on his back. Once he's shown that he's got good control of it, then they go let him do his solo, which is going to be later this evening. The wind had been a little bit questionable, so we decided to wait for it to die down a little bit. Once it died down, Sean decided he was going to go do a quick lap around the pattern just to see how it was. So he took off here, flew a couple of laps, and when he came down, he said it was pretty good. He said it was a little bit bumpy, but not too bad, so we definitely were going to go up. Before we went up, Sean laid one of the parachutes out on the ground and kind of taught me a bit about how it works. This was pretty fascinating since I don't know about any of this stuff. It turns out each one of these strings has its own intended purpose, and if you pull on different strings, different things happen. As a serious pilot, I really should have a better understanding of how these things work.
So this one, towards the front. So your second A's goes more, it's your front, your leading edge, but it's on your wingtip.
Got it?
So basically this is one that we can use later on. When we're up flying, we can reach up and pull this down.
And the parachute's a tube. It's not...
Yeah, it's basically like a big balloon.
Okay.
So you see the leading edge, it's open, right?
Yeah.
The trailing edge is sealed. So the faster you go, the more air you push into this, the more rigid this wing becomes, the more stable it becomes.
Interesting.
And also the more responsive it is.
Okay.
Right?
So it was time to take off, and there's no way to do this and look cool when you're tandem. This is just kind of goofy. I'm sure the engine's supposed to do that. All right, Sean told me rule number 1 was just run, 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 and don't stop running even if it feels like you're about to fly. And you'll see as soon as we felt like we were about to fly, I quit running, and so it got real awkward, but we did get airborne. Here we go.
Okay, give it all you got. Go, 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 go.
So my initial thoughts were kind of a blur. Without knowing what to expect and almost falling on takeoff, it kind of took a minute to have my head on straight and realize that, hey, this is actually working. One fun fact, the backpack has this little seat that's like a pouch that kind of folds down. So once you're airborne, you lift yourself up into it. So you're actually sitting rather than just hanging. Now, it was only after I was hanging from a parachute in the sky that I started to fixate on how thin those little ropes are. The higher we got, the more I started to kind of look around and inspect the equipment and wonder if the guy that made this was having a good day. Like, what if he was on his last day at the job and it was 5 p.m. when he stitched this little part together? When we were low to the ground, everything was great. I was cool, calm, and collected and having a fantastic time. Once we got up about maybe a little above pattern altitude, I had to forcefully not think about what different types of failures would look like. Just zone out and enjoy the ride.
This is what makes it great. You just come up, kill it, enjoy the ride.
This is so incredible.
Yeah, ain't nothing like it.
I'm having to shut off the part of my brain that worries about crap.
Right?
I don't like how high I am.
I'm guessing, yeah. I'm usually kind of close when I have dams to the last night and I don't have my phone running my app. So.
Yeah, this feels about like pattern altitude. It's about 1,000 feet, I would
I
guess.
think we're a little bit higher than them. There's one over here.
Oh, I got it.
So one thing about this that was strange, I mean, everything about this is strange, right? But sitting in this contraption in the sky and seeing planes fly below our altitude, because we were above pattern altitude and there were 4 or 5 planes doing laps around the pattern. It was just very interesting to look down and see a plane flying below me. So we flew around for about another 30, maybe 40 minutes. Didn't go too far because these things top out, I think he said around 25 miles an hour. It's not very fast, obviously. You're not going to go cross country on this. We flew around for a bit, and then it was time to come in and land. He said before we land, we want to do a low pass so we can check the winds. I was pretty excited about that. I think low passes are always a good idea just because they're fun. So we did one pass over the runway, kind of skimming the top of the grass, and then brought it back around full stop. All right, so that's pretty much it. I had a blast. I would do it again. I could see myself taking this up as a hobby. It's extremely impractical for any other reason than just to have fun. Obviously, you're not taking your family on a cross-country trip in this thing. It's purely for fun. For those interested, I asked him what's the cost to get into this. He said upfront cost, expect to spend about $10,000 on your equipment. But obviously, it's pricey. It's not as pricey as owning a plane, and the maintenance is significantly cheaper. He said, once you've got it, you've kind of paid for it. The maintenance is pennies relative to aircraft ownership. Fuel burn is low. So there's not the ongoing costs that come with flying an airplane, but I enjoyed it. I'm for the most part, I'm kind of afraid of heights, and I really, really enjoyed this. I definitely had that whole don't look down thing going on in my head. At certain points, I like to be surrounded by some sort of structure. I realize it doesn't matter. Falling inside a plane, falling from a parachute, when you hit the ground, the same result happens. He said the weight limit on that one was 220 pounds. He said they fly about 25 miles per hour. You don't have to have a license to fly it. You don't even have to have any training, but my guess is it probably wouldn't be bright to just go get one of these things and jump in it and guess what you're doing. They do stall, and they do have a lot of the similar characteristics of an aircraft, and so there's definitely things you need to know how to do properly in order to do it. But I recommend you do it. And if you're anywhere near my neck of the woods, it's Durant, Oklahoma. It's called ppgflyers.com. Give them a call, talk to Sean, and go out there, and I think you'll have a whole lot of fun. So thanks for watching, and I guess the only thing left is the flight back home was kind of nice. Click this link to see the most recent video upload. Click this link to see a video that YouTube thinks you might like. Click this link to subscribe to my channel.